The Ink and Paint Club podcast is intended for mature audiences. These guys can't go about like 3 seconds without saying a swear, so, listener discretion is advised.
Pim, can I talk to you for a second? Look, Pim, I know it's our job to help this
podcast
and everything, but I think this
podcasts
is a lost cause. Why don't we just cut our losses and get out of here?
You're listening to the Ink and Paint Club podcast, a proud member of the Geekly Grind Podcast Network.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to the Ink and Paint Club podcast. My name is JD, and joining me today is Kyle. Yo Noid, am I right?
Ha. Nope.
That'll only make sense for the all the pre-show stuff I'm not going to put on this episode. Oh, and hey, Dustin's here.
Yo, what up, Slapshot?
Yeah. And this
All
week...
right, kind of not really answering my question, but okay, moving on, I guess.
Anyway. And this week, I know we're still playing catch up here, but this week we were talking about one of Adult Swim's newest shows, one that really came out of nowhere last year, and the first season kind of got dropped out of nowhere a couple weeks ago, but we are talking about Smiling Friends, the first season. And man, guys, the show is something.
There's a reason why they dropped everything.
Ooh.
Oh.
Well, there's a reason why they put the whole season out. It's because I guess there's a contract with HBO Max that they can't put whatever's on HBO Max unless it's all been shown before on TV or something.
I mean that makes sense. They wouldn't want to cannibalize like viewerships or anything, but Cartoon Network itself is doing that now too. Like with We Baby Bears and Craig of the Creek, they just dumped like a whole bunch of new episodes all in one day for the purpose of putting them on HBO Max sooner than they would have otherwise.
Weird.
Yeah, I guess that's just the future.
We're living in it. We've got jetpacks now. We're living in the future. So anyway,
here we are in the future. Haha, that's from a different show.
Yeah, but we're talking about Smiling Friends, a very strange show, a co-production between Zach Psychic Pebbles Hadel, who you may know as Psychic Pebbles from Newgrounds and YouTube and part of Oni Plays, and Michael Cusack, who is an animator, and you may remember from the Rick and Morty Bushworld adventures.
The best Rick and Morty thing ever made.
Honestly, I'm not in total disagreement there, but
He's
also
sick of it. He's sick of the adventures.
We're not going to sit here for the next hour just quoting Bushworld adventures.
Well, if you listen to it after, you might disagree with that statement.
Maybe. But so Michael Cusack is really being pumped up by Adult Swim now because so the original pilot for Smiling Friends aired almost a year ago, on.
I thought it was 2. Was it
2 years ago?
Yeah, 2 years.
Yeah,
ago.
it was April 20. Yeah, it was April 1st, 2020. My God, time has lost all meaning to me. But at the same time, the pilot for Cusack's other show, YOLO Crystal Fantasy, which I could only watch one episode of before it drove me to madness.
Yikes.
But yes,
YOLO's good too.
You're
so dumb, Sarah.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Maybe I need to give it another shot then.
I didn't really enjoy it as much as I did Bushland Adventures, only because with YOLO they're like trying to have actual characters. Like it's still funny, but they're trying to be like an actual show at the same time. Whereas Bushworld Adventures is just a shitpost Rick and Morty. They could kind of go more wild with it.
But I think Smiling Friends is a little better because it does definitely feel like half Zach's show and half Mike's show, and that's down to writing, down to characters, down to art style. Because if there's anything I could say about the show, it has no consistent art style.
No,
it has no consistent medium either.
Yeah, it reminds me of Gumball a little bit.
Yeah, it's great. Lots of both CGI, live action, all sorts of crazy stuff.
Stop motion and just it's all over the place. But I don't know. So yeah, like we said, the first episode is the pilot got dropped on April 1st, like 2 years ago now, almost 2 years. And then just a few weeks ago, like we said, the entire first season just got shadow dropped on Adult Swim one night, unprompted. Like they didn't tell anybody they were doing it. They're like, okay, we're airing the first episode, then proceeded to air like 8 more episodes.
Yeah. So on the schedule, it said it was going to be the first 2 new episodes, which are Mr. Frog and Shrimp's Odyssey. And then after that, it was supposed to be like Squidbillies, Joe Pera, just their usual schedule. But if you kept watching, it just kept going until they aired the entire first season.
Right.
8 episodes total, including the pilot.
Right. So I mean, we got a lot of content just dumped on us all at once, and you know, I'm kind of okay with that because like I really enjoyed just being able to just like watch through all these episodes and really kind of get used to this world that they're building.
Yeah.
But I guess now that we've seen the pilot, we've seen the whole first season now. How are we feeling about this? And like, do we think that it like has longevity?
Definitely. I mean, that's the whole point of the series. They were saying, I think there was a video with where Zach said, or it might have been Michael, I don't remember. One of them said that the whole premise of Smiling Friends was to do something where they could basically just do anything, like kind of like Aqua Teen, Hunger Force, where it has a very broad premise that they can use for they can just put these characters in any sort of situation that fits that sort of premise.
Mm-hmm.
As long as someone gets to smile.
So everyone has to smile at least once the episode.
Yeah, and I guess this first season really proves that. Like you have the fantasy episode, you have
the murder
Shrimp's
mystery
Odyssey.
episode.
Yeah, the murder mystery. They really can't just do like whatever they want with these characters.
They have one episode where one character spends the entire episode in hell.
Yeah, I've watched through this first season like 4 times now. It's so easy to just put on in the background and laugh. They really do make you smile.
For sure, man. Kyle, how did you feel about this after watching it?
I liked it a lot. I guess there's like a bunch of YouTube videos that are like, oh, check out these references, and they're like 10 minutes long of just references from like Oni Plays or whatever.
Yeah, like jokes they've brought up on various Oni Plays videos that they fit into this.
Yeah, and it's like, I never watched those, but it's so interesting to see how much is actually referenced in it.
Yeah, Zach, I think, is hands down like one of the funniest people. He's just so, in those YouTube videos, he's just so like effortlessly funny in what he says.
Yeah, and I mean, there's a lot of references in the writing, but just looking at the voice cast, there's just so many like just
it's a
deep
lot of Newgrounds people.
It's like a who's who of Newgrounds people from back in the day.
Who's who
knew? Because like Tom Fulp, the creator of Newgrounds, is in here. David Firth, the creator of Salad Fingers, is on here. Harry Partridge is a couple character voices as well as some animation.
That's true. He does a lot in this show. He shows up a pretty good amount.
Yeah. James Rolfe, the angry video game nerd, apparently shows up for like a hot second.
Yeah, he has a very quick blink and you'll miss it cameo.
Yeah. Well, I think he's Satan at the end.
No, he's so he's not Satan, but he is in that episode. It's in the montage scene when after Charlie dies and he's going to hell. Spoilers, by the way. In that montage, you get a very quick like 1 or 2 frames of James.
That's right. He's in that.
There's Mike. Mike is also in it.
Yeah, Mike from Red Letter Media is in there as well.
Right.
And he's Desmond in the pilot.
Yeah. And then I mean we've also got like every member of Oni Plays is in here in some capacity. So but like Chris, Tomar, Lyle, they're all in here. I think Chris did the theme song, honestly.
Zach shows up in there a couple times.
Yeah. Well, Zach is one of the main characters. He voices Charlie, which is just as the main is voice, and I've never actually seen a Zach like on film before. I've only ever heard him and seen a picture of him. So I need to hear this voice coming out of this man because he just constantly sounds like he has a head cold.
Yeah.
Like he can't breathe out his nose.
I like there's a few times where he'll talk and then he'll like cough or something.
Yeah.
It happens a lot.
There's one time in Shrimp Odyssey where he like turns, he goes, pardon me, heavens.
Yeah, so there's just like all these like little tiny cameos from all these different people. I mean, fucking at the last second of the season, Gilbert Gottfried comes up as God. Out of nowhere.
That's a good one.
That's pretty
that was
funny.
completely out of left field.
And I loved it.
Gilbert Gottfried.
He's Godfried. But yeah, just like the conceit of this show is just so it's not wholly new, but I like the weird spin they put on it as the fact that they're just like a charity that is going out to like lift the spirits of people that call in for them. So, but every time they get to someone is just like completely fucked up. I mean, the first entire pilot episode is just them trying to keep a guy from shooting himself in the head who walks around with a revolver to his head the entire episode.
Voiced by Mike.
Voiced by Mike from Red Letter Media.
It really does kind of feel like, maybe this isn't a perfect comparison, but it kind of feels like the anti-Rick and Morty, where that show's all about its nihilist stylings. But Smiling Friends is more optimistic and hopeful in its message about making you message might be too strong a word, but it is about making people happy and smiling.
Right. I guess, like, do you guys have a favorite episode of the season?
Yeah. Yeah, I do.
Would you care to elaborate on that?
Yeah, I guess so. I really like the Fantasy Quest one. I feel like that one. Well, I don't know. I don't know which one's my top favorite episode. It's that or Shrimp Odyssey. Both are very funny. Both have so many good jokes. I I love in Shrimp's Odyssey when they're trying to hook Shrimp up with his girlfriend Shrimpina, and the girl that Pim got is not at all Shrimpina. Her name's Jennifer, and Charlie just says, Pim, her name was Shrimpina. She'd be a shrimp.
Well, even Charlie is like, oh, I thought it maybe was just a funny nickname, like you'd get there and you wouldn't expect her to be a human. But
oh, and that's also the episode with Smormu.
You voted and we listened. This could not be changed.
And it's totally down the line. It's like perfectly 50-50.
Yeah.
So, did your guys' states vote for Smormu? Mine did. Mine said yes to Smormu.
I think Ohio did. I think we were a red state.
I'd have to look. Let me see.
I think California said no.
Did it?
I think so.
I was no.
Then he comes in, he goes, da-da-dee-da-doo.
And that,
I guess
was a reference to something else too.
Yeah.
Yeah, through multiple times in Oni Plays, Zach says that's like Lyle's theme song or Tomar's theme song, and he goes da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. It's just little inside jokes, and I think they do it well, where it's just like, the joke isn't that it is a reference, it's just them doing a joke that they've done before. It's just part of their... It's just the kind of things they joke about.
Yeah, and it's like one of those things where you don't need to know the reference to find it funny, but if you know the reference, I think it makes it funnier.
Yeah, it's not really even referencing that in particular, but you can go, oh, I remember when they did that before.
I did find the voting map, and yes, Kyle, California voted no on Smormu.
Boo!
I do like that they have a popular. Kyle, did you have a favorite episode?
I like the Frowning Friends one.
Yeah.
Frowning Friends isn't my top favorite episode, but it has so many good lines. I love when Charlie's talking at the beginning, or maybe it's Pim, I forget. But then the evil Charlie, Gnarly, he's like, shut up, man.
I'm kind of with Kyle. Like Frowning Breads is one of my favorites, if only because I think it has a really great payoff at the end.
Kinda cringe.
I don't know. I just like these.
Oh, the Renaissance Man.
The Renaissance Man.
My
And he's
favorite
like-
part of that. My
He's
favorite
like-
part of that. Oh, go ahead.
Charlie's just sitting at the front at the beginning of the episode, reading off his phone. He's like, "Hey, the Renaissance Men are going to be coming in really soon." And Pim like has no idea what that means, and Charlie doesn't either. He's like, "Man, I'm just reading a headline, man."
I'm just telling you what I'm reading.
Yeah,
Fucking,
it's like, I
these
know as
knights
much
just
as you
come
do.
out of nowhere, and just like shoot the doppelgangers.
My favorite part of that is at the end when they're still arguing about it, and then Pim just gives up. He's like, "All right."
They're-
And you can tell they're both annoyed by this conversation.
It's
It's just-
just like they're not even Renaissance. I don't get it.
Man, I'm telling you as much as I know. I'm giving you all the knowledge I have. I feel like I've had these arguments before.
Jeremy Snow here, owner and editor-in-chief of The Geekly Grind. I'm interrupting your awesome, regularly scheduled programming to ensure that you know about our Geekly Grind podcast network, of which this show is a treasured member of. If you haven't had a chance to check out our site, you can do so at www.thegeeklygrind.com, and while you're there, check out the other members of our steadily growing podcast family, including the anime-centric Blake and Spencer Get Jumped, discovering new heroes and comic book keepers with Chris and Lance, exploring the vast universe of geekdom with Geeksploration, or of course appreciating animation's finer details with the Ink and Paint Club. Escape your weekly grind at the Geekly Grind.
Yeah, I don't.
Calm down.
I
I'm
don't
just gonna shoot you in the head and kill you.
Yeah, it feels like a nice breath of fresh air for Adult Swim. I think Adult Swim's kind of been in a weird spot past couple years, and
Yeah.
kind of a step in the right direction.
Yeah, I feel like Adult Swim still has like good stuff, but it kind of feels like that good stuff is moving a little farther away from the classic Adult Swim flavor. And this really does kind of have that same flavor to it. Like it's not exactly like the Aqua Teens or things of the earlier days, but it is just a straight up comedy gag based show.
Well, and I mean,
Go on.
well, I was going to say that I feel like a lot of early internet animated humor, and I mean, it could even cross over to some of today's, but I mean, I feel it's kind of maybe influenced by that early Adult Swim sense of humor. So it's almost kind of come full circle that now they're getting Newgrounds YouTube animators to like come on and make shows for them, bringing that sense of humor back.
Yeah, I was gonna say exactly that too. I was gonna say exactly what you just said.
All right.
It was just weird because a lot of their recent stuff, they really hype it up and then nothing comes from it. Because what was it, the J.J. Villard's Fairy Tales? They hyped that the fuck up,
And it just came and
nothing
went.
happened. Yeah,
Yeah, Shivering Truth just kind of left too. I don't even know if that's gonna continue or not. Like, there's been no word on either of those shows since. I'm really praying that Ballmasters is sticking around.
yeah, they haven't said anything about that either. And
Yeah,
they've
well, to
set it
be
up
fair,
for-
I don't think they said anything about Ballmasters until like a few weeks before it was gonna premiere, like season 2. So I'm hoping that's just the way it is now.
but then that whole buyout thing fucked over a lot of stuff. So it's
Yeah,
just
they fired
weird.
all the people who did the streams. All those are gone and done. But now AT&T sold them, so I hope maybe there will be some sort of stabilization now that they're not owned by a company who's billions of dollars in debt.
Yeah, maybe.
I guess we'll see, won't we?
I guess we'll see.
That's just where it's weird. It's like Adult Swim's kind of in a weird spot. I think is even Teenage Euthanasia, is that even getting like a new season or anything?
Who knows?
So, yeah.
They really pushed Teenage Euthanasia. And yeah, who knows? I don't know how well that did. Obviously not as good as Smiling Friends. I kind of hope it did well. I don't necessarily want like any of these shows to fail and go away or
Yeah.
anything. And Adult
Yeah.
Swim's kind of now. Well, I was gonna say they're hurting for content after losing Family Guy, but they just recently got King of the Hill and Futurama back, so
Yeah.
maybe they're
Um,
fine.
Because they were really pushing Jellies, they were really pushing Laser Wolf, and then like nothing happened with them. And I think only one of those is on HBO Max. now?
No,
or-
both are on there.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's just fucking weird.
Rick and Morty's really their only like big hit.
Simpsons.
Yeah. Well, like even throughout Adult Swim history, they really don't have that many shows that like really got big. Aqua Teen, Space
That's
Ghost Coast to Coast, I guess I'll say, but it was kind of grandfathered into Adult Swim. Those and Rick and Morty, I think, are like their only shows that were like huge.
Samurai Jack was like really pushed too, and that felt like it was just kind of fucked over too.
Well, Samurai Jack, at least they went in knowing this is just to do like a big finale season.
Oh yeah, and then there's Primal. We haven't heard any news on Primal either.
Well, it is confirmed for a second season. We know it's
Okay.
coming. I think it just takes a long time.
Gendy's a busy boy.
So all in all, this series was great, and
Yeah.
season 2 is coming.
Yeah, I'm surprised and not surprised how like well this was received. I mean, the pilot I think was so welcomed by critics and the internet that Adult Swim just kind of caved and like, okay, fine, we'll make this into a show. And now it's become like this like almost overnight sensation for them that I think they would be crazy not to keep this on the air for a while.
Yeah.
It's weird how that shit works because they showed the pilot, it got really popular. People were tweeting to Adult Swim, hey, pick this up, whatever, it got picked up. But then there's a lot of stuff like wasn't there a pilot Nickelodeon put out or something? Or Cartoon Network, it was about like wolves or some shit. And that felt like everybody wouldn't shut it the fuck up about that one.
Oh, was it? I think I know which one you're talking about. The one that came from someone who worked on OKKO.
Yes.
Yeah,
'Cause I
I
felt like
don't
that
remember the
one-
name of it, but like when the creator announced that it wasn't picked up for Cartoon Network, people were like really mad. Like I saw a lot of like, you don't know what you're missing. And you know,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say anything about the pilot's quality. I'm sure it was fine, but it's just weird how people get so like up in arms over certain pilots. Like
So there
I
was-
just assumed it would be like, well, sorry, the show didn't get picked up, but we tried. And then people would be like, oh, that's too bad and move on. But no, they were like really upset.
Because there was that, and then Glitch Text came out, and Glitch Text had a history of getting fucked over, and a lot of
I
people
feel
are pissed
so
off.
bad for him. Like
Yeah.
I don't think I'm like the biggest fan of the show. I liked it fine, but I do think it's like really unfair how fucked over they got.
It's weird that that's like a thing now, where they're just like, hey, we're putting out a pilot, we're just testing the water, and then even though it's well received, they're just like, yeah, we're not gonna go with it. It's kind of
Yeah.
weird how that shit works.
I wonder if Smiling Friends is just like way cheaper to make.
I mean,
Me too.
it's weird because I'd like to think it would be, but like just the amount of weird shit that they do, like changing mediums, like they have like the Halloween episode has a completely stop motion monster in it.
That's so good. That episode's a highlight too. That episode I saw got like really mixed reception because most of that episode is not like jokes. Most of it is
No.
Pim out in the woods. It's build up, but I think that's perfect because that makes the payoff work so much better.
Yeah.
That's such a good payoff. That's so good. I love that. I don't want to spoil it here, even though we already spoiled like every other episode.
And
Right.
I guess that whole thing was another reference to the Oni plays, because he had mentioned something like that.
Yeah. But Kyle, what was your favorite episode? No, we already talked to Kyle. I meant JD. JD, what's your episode? We already said ours.
So honestly, I'm kind of in the middle of both of you, where I really liked Frowning Friends and I really liked Shrimp's Odyssey. Because I like, and honestly, I think it really comes down to the payoff to the jokes, where like, yeah, like I think Frowning Friends has like a really comes full circle kind of joke. And I like a lot of the jokes in the middle of it. Just having these like anti-doppelgangers. But Shrimp's Quest is just so awkward, and I love fucking Shrimp and Charlie's like back and forth the whole time. Like I fucking love when they go to the gym and he's trying to
To
tell
be
them
an
how to lift
alpha
weights.
like Charlie.
And then like the old guy comes up and starts talking to him. He's like, "Yeah, man, we got it." Until he just like tells
Don't listen to him,
fuck
shrimp. He's just showing off.
up. He's like become an alpha like me and just wearing this fucking tiger tank top.
So good. I love when they take him to get new clothes. He says, "How do I look, yellow man?" And it shows him dressed up, and he says, "You look like you're about to tell your friend not to come to school tomorrow."
That's probably like the worst joke in the whole show. That's a real problem.
I love at the end when Charlie and Shrimp are at the bar, and Charlie is saying, "Oh, you just suck, man." And he's like, and I ain't even trying to be offensive or nothing like that. I mean, you was born that way.
You can do about it.
I feel like this episode I saw get the worst reception was actually the first new one, Mr. Frog. That just seems to be the episode no one really grabbed onto that much, and then people warmed up to the other ones.
I think a lot of people took offense to it because I saw a lot of online reviewers were mad because it was about cancel culture and making fun of it.
Yeah, well, I guess they just missed the point of the episode. The point was it's not like they're saying, "Oh, cancel culture is bad. Mr. Frog should be." No, the point of the episode was, no, Mr. Frog is insane. He should be canceled. Yeah. It is right to cancel him. He is not a good person.
It's one of my favorite bits where they're at the table reading.
And Gleb spits and everyone loses their shit.
Yeah, I love
that. I've always loved Zach's just cackle laugh.
Yeah.
Like so many characters in the show have it.
That episode has one of my favorite jokes too. So a couple times Charlie brings up how his uncle got in multiple car accidents.
Yeah.
Just killed people.
And Pim's like, "Boy, your uncle sure gets into a lot of car accidents." And Charlie says, "Yeah, he loves his cars. He loves his cars."
No one's ever done anything bad on sleeping meds.
Wow.
Something I noticed that a lot of people have been, I guess, criticizing, and I do agree with it. Mm-hmm. They're saying that they wish the other characters got focused on a little more.
Yeah, because Glep is really only in the first episode, or the Mr. Frog episode, and Alan is really only in the pilot. I kind of get it, though, if you're doing like a first season of a new series, kind of focus on putting the two main characters out there, I guess, first. So maybe in season 2, they'll focus more on the others a little bit, branch out.
Well, yeah, because I swear they have other people working at the office that aren't even named characters, but like keep popping up, like the two females characters that work there.
There's some guy with glasses.
But I don't know. They show up at the Halloween episode, but then they show up at Charlie's funeral.
Yeah,
that's pretty much it.
And like, what was it? I think it's the Frowning Friends one where the boss is freaking out, and then Alan comes and asks him, "Hey, is everything all right?" He's like, "Just go focus on a piece of cheese or something." Just like that.
The boss is such a good character too. He just has like so many good... My favorite scene with the boss is when he does the hip hop eulogy at Charlie's funeral. Like, "World's fucked up, man."
My favorite is where he's playing DDR. He's
like, just like get his rhythm back before they can start talking.
God, this just makes me... I watched a couple episodes before we started recording, but it just makes me want to watch all of them again.
Yeah.
It's really great.
Yeah.
I guess I'd say my least favorite episode might be the murder mystery episode, but even that one has like so many good jokes, so many just like little lines. Like when Charlie's interrogating all the people, and he interrogates the Salt and Pepper that are like that were kissing when Salty wasn't looking. And Charlie just says, that's legitimately beautiful, by the way.
Yes, legitimately beautiful.
I like where they're at the play place, and those things are just like fucking jumping.
They have lots of scenes, like the Bliblies in the pilot.
Yeah.
I also love the guy. I love the guy in the milkshake suit, and he's telling Pim about how much it sucks, and Pim says, "Wow, that sounds really awful." He says, "Yeah, no dip."
He was cleaning his doo-doo feces.
Doo-doo feces.
That's another Honey's Play joke.
Yeah, well, it was something they had a clip. It was something Michael Jackson said.
Yeah, doo-doo feces.
And
Yeah.
Michael Jackson actually said that.
They said it
Yeah.
in Drawn Together too.
Doo-doo feces. That's good shit. But yeah, I mean, this should be showing up on HBO Max, probably within the next couple weeks. And
yeah, pretty soon. I think it's like February 9th, I think, or somewhere around there.
yeah, that sounds right. But
And we're recording this like a couple days after they finished airing the actual show. Like the first night they played through the whole series or the whole season, but then they just after that they started playing the new episodes just normally, like 2 each night. And I think they just did the season finale.
right, but
That Charlie dies and doesn't come back.
yeah. So I mean, so it seems like people are pretty big on this already. I am curious to see if it gains an even bigger audience once it goes to HBO Max and more people are able to see it, like people who maybe don't have cable and don't see it through less legitimate means.
Yeah, I'm very interested in seeing if this show will catch on because like it did get a very strong initial reaction, but who knows if that will translate over to being a big hit otherwise.
Right.
It's so weird to think about like what succeeds, like what Kyle was saying earlier, what succeeds and what fails. Because like they really pushed teenage euthanasia, and at this point I think it's too early to say whether or not that was a success or not.
Mhm.
But like Rick and Morty, they just kind of put out there. They just threw out there, and it was like their biggest show they ever made. So
Yeah.
That's one of those things where it kind of started on the internet and it kind of had a somewhat little following before it came on TV. Like,
yeah,
there
it was like an
that-
obscure little short.
Yeah, there were some like fans of Channel 101 and Dan Harmon and all that. So there was already like a little seed, and then over here there's people who watch, Oni plays and whatever, and that's where it's kind of interesting with that, where you have fans that are kind of old, and then it's bringing new fans in. So yeah, it's just weird that how is it going to be considered a success or not, but I just want to see shitty Funko Pops of them.
I'd probably buy Funko Pops of smiling friends. I hate to say.
I want to see how they do Pim and his squiggly eyes.
I more want to see how they do Charlie in 3D.
Yeah.
I feel like they'd handle it like they do Homestar Runner, just put his face on like one side.
Maybe.
But we do see Charlie from the front in that murder
It's
mystery episode.
horrifying.
It's very
It's unsettling and I
boy.
don't like it.
It just looks like a big smile.
Oh god. But yeah, so I mean, I think it's a glowing recommendation for the three of us, and it watched it yet. Please
you
give
know-
it a watch. If
You know who didn't give it a glowing recommendation?
who's that?
My mom.
Well,
So
I think
sometimes
she's
when I'm
target
over there,
audience.
sometimes when I'm over at their house, we'll watch Adult Swim. You know, they like Rick and Morty and Bob's Burgers and stuff. So, they saw a bunch of the Smiling Friends ads, and I told my mom, "Oh, I'm really looking forward to this show." And she watched that commercial for it, and she said it looked like the worst show she had ever seen in her life.
Ari watched it and she said she thought it was repulsive.
I mean, she's not wrong, but
I don't think it looks that bad. I don't think it looks like that ugly. Like, I think they try to make some of the characters cute. It's definitely weird, and there's some ugliness in there. But I wouldn't put it on like I would say Metalocalypse is a show that's like trying to look really ugly. Like, it's appealing in its ugliness, but Smiling Friends doesn't strike me as a show that like set out to look ugly.
but it's very strange because like the characters are a lot of them are very on purpose and just like very kind of off-putting. But man, if you look at the backgrounds, like the backgrounds are very detailed, actually very very nice to look at. So it's
Especially in that Quest episode, like the magical forest has so much detail everywhere. Oh, and the Halloween episode, those backgrounds are insane.
yeah.
Well, I think they were done by Nick Cross, who has a history of working with I guess animation in general. He was like art director on Over the Garden Wall,
Oh yeah.
etc., etc.
Yeah, not just say that, like especially the Halloween episode, definitely Over the Garden Wall kind of background feel. So I could see that. But is there anything else you guys want to bring up before we wrap this episode up?
No, I think we're good.
Yeah, I guess not. It's a very straightforward show. There's not a whole lot to explain about it. It's very straightforward in its premise, and I think it's to its benefit. You know, they really can just do whatever they want with it. It's an easy to grasp show and characters. So good job. It's very funny. It's a good show.
Yeah. So good job, Zach and Mike and everyone else involved. It's a good. It's a like Kyle said. It's a breath of fresh air for Adult Swim, and I for one to see what else that they can do with this. So, if you have not watched it, I implore you to go check it out.
It'll be on HBO Max soon
enough, and within like 2 or 3 episodes, you'll know if this is a show for you or not. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that'll do it for this week, everybody. Thank you all for listening. Stay safe out there, and we will be back again next time with something else. So, see you later.
Take care. Bye, kids.
Thanks for listening. You can find all the links to our social media pages in the episode description. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and join our Discord. You can listen to us wherever you get your podcasts. The Ink and Paint Club is happy to be part of the Geekly Grind Podcast Network. We'll see you next time.